Okay. Should you be, would you be upset at someone for being who they are? And I want you to really think about that answer. Whatever your answer is, keep that in mind. Okay? I feel like I feel like the answer would be no. But because it'd be no off rip, is because the way that you think about someone being who they are doesn't always look like what you want it to be in reality. You see, a lot of people are showing who they are beyond the masks, beyond the ego. If you forget about all that, imagine we didn't know egos and masks existed. Imagine we didn't know that some people were pretending who they said they were. Some people are really inauthentic to who they are. Imagine we just didn't know that and we took things for face value. That would mean that everyone that we've ever encountered or interacted with was being who they are. There would be no excuse. There would be no benefit of a doubt. We would simply understand that the way someone shows up for us, the way someone communicates with us, the way someone interacts with us, handles conflict, the way we see them at their best and their worst, and how they decide to move would simply give us all reason to understand that is who they are. Right? It'd be very, very simple. There would be no need for us to uh, linger and we would probably save a lot of time in relationships and effort and heartbreak in relationships. But because we know some people are pretending, but also because people are so good at pretending sometimes, like the mask only drops once you get close to this person. Some people have those agendas where, they will show up as something that they're not until you guys get close, you guys are connected, and then of course they boom, jump scare. Surprise, this is actually who I am. And you fell for it. You walked the prank, right? Um, and so I would like to say that is it easier to take things for face value? One second. So, as I said, is it easier to take things for face value versus looking deeply into things? I think that yes, initially. When you first meet someone, it's easy to take things for face value. And it's not until you frequently interact with someone that you should start deeply analyzing just a little bit. Um, One sec. Okay, so the reason why I bring this up is because we 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 do not believe people when they show us who they are. Because most times our feelings get involved. And when it is that our feelings get involved, it makes it that much more difficult for us to just accept people for the way that they are. I'm going to give two examples. The first example is when you are someone who finally realizes that your family may have been the same people who have not helped you become the person that you need to be. They may have not had your best interest. their actions never aligned with their words. And so then you became very hostile, very, you know, I don't fuck with my family type of thing, all types of things. Um, for that, I would love to say, um, that's it, number one, it's hard, but number two, we have to, it's easier to accept. The best thing you could do is accept that this is who they are. Because the more that you hold on to the feelings that they made you feel, the more that you're going to be stuck on autopilot, thinking about all the things that your family was not, replaying the memories. And it takes a long time to get to that acceptance because emotions are involved, especially when it comes to family. And another scenario is your friend group. And it's so interesting. It's almost like you're walking out of the fog. It's like being in a coma. Real life, like no bullshit. You're like in a coma. And you know what? I think that's one of the best ways to put it. There are a lot of people who are living in a coma. And what that means is like they're asleep, but also like they're awake. They're not, how do I say this? It's like when you finally realize that the people closest to you never had the best interest in heart for you, it can feel like betrayal, whether it be from your family or your friends, your peers, your coworkers, especially. Whatever it is, it can really feel like betrayal at first. And for a long time, you may fight with these people and you may be like, why are you like this? And you may be very hostile. You may try and tell these people off and tell them this and tell them that and interact with them differently. And you're just very, very upset and you're hurt and you're angry. But what I really want you to understand is that not only are your feelings valid, but you coming out of that coma was actually the first step to clarity. And it clarifies that it wasn't them. It wasn't them. They have always been showing you who they really were. It was you who needed to open your eyes a little bit more to see that what they were giving you wasn't through any type of strategic, malicious intent. It was through because that's who they are. So I'm really outlining that difference between someone who's strategically a malicious person and people who are just who they are. And you have to open your eyes to that fact and accept that, oh, this is just who this person is. And it doesn't, there's nothing more you can say to them, or even less, that's gonna make them see you differently. As a matter of fact, even in your absence, they may not see it, you know? Um, so those people you have to learn to just accept as this is just who they are. And the coma that I was living in, because the coma I was living in, I realized it wasn't them, but it was me that had to come to this realization, come to this clarity, to see that this is who they've always been, and that their decisions for me may not look like what's in my best interest, but this is as much as they can serve me because that is just who they are. because this is how they serve themselves. And we're not saying this in a way that's like, oh, da 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 da. I'm saying this because it's important to know the difference between someone who's strategically malicious and someone who's just who they are. They have their stories, they have their reasonings. If you looked back into their childhood and you can do all that, you'd see that they turn out this way for a reason. And it's not that they are bad people. You can see their good hearts. You can see their intention despite their behavior toward you and their inability to see how that's harmful for you. Because there's gonna be what that is it's just the fact that they aren't in your shoes to see it. They are not in your shoes to see it. Not that they lack empathy, but they aren't you and you aren't them. Just like you can't see why they do certain things. They can't see why you do certain things, and they also can't see why what they have to offer isn't sometimes the best for you, and vice versa. You know, that doesn't mean that they are these bad people. Like I said, there are differences between people who are strategically like this and people who are just like this. And so with these people, it's best to understand that, know the difference, number one, and number two, understand that acceptance is the only way that's going to bring you and restore peace for yourself and within the relationship that you believe that you came out of the coma of, and you started to like be like, oh shit, like these people are actually, maybe they're leading me somewhere that isn't really what's best for me. And then you just learned you had to take the wheel the entire time. It's time for you to take the wheel, right? I mean, and then and then you can kind of make decisions based on, you know, the type of relationship that you have with these people. So for example, with this family, you can just learn to accept it and be like, okay, well, whatever else, you know, I can tolerate it's family. With friendships, you can definitely, you know, cut that shit off because friends friends are replaceable until they're not. People are replaceable until they're not. That may sound a little bit controversial, but this is how, and right now, at this moment, I do believe that. I do believe that not all people are deserving to be in your presence. Um, and so those people are definitely replaceable. And it's not as though you are replacing them. You're replacing something better for you in your life. So replaceable meaning, maybe replaceable is not the term I want to use, but it's the term that makes sense. Because I feel like if you're saying, oh, you're replaceable, then that means you're gonna just find something else that's like a carbon copy of this toxic person. You're not looking for someone to replace the same exact person that we don't want in our lives. We're looking for someone who's worthy of being in our lives. Worthy meaning they are on the same trajectory, they're just on the same playing field, they're on your level. So, yeah, um, that question at the beginning of this video, what did I say? I said, would you be upset at someone for being who they are? And if you said no, I feel like I feel like I caught you in a little lie. Because maybe you mistaken someone for being who they actually are, for someone who's strategically malicious. They have bad intent, like actual bad intent. Like you will know the difference. Um, so yeah, learn to understand that about some people, number one, and then number two, laugh more about those people. It makes it that much easier for the people who believe there's some strategically malicious people. Those people, I'm gonna say that for a different video, because those people deserve to be laughed at. Um, but also, you can learn to accept those people for who they are. You just have to learn the games, the mind games that they love to play with themselves through you, right? They're not playing you, but they're playing themselves through you. So keep that in mind as well. Anyway, I'm done talking. It took me a while to kind of understand what I was trying to get at. So I'll leave a timestamp for Shirley in the beginning, in the description, so that it just hops right into what I'm trying to say. If not, I can just kind of edit this video too. Um, so yeah, thanks for listening. I'll see you next time. Peace.